Unicorns. So this opens up that Galio first pick should they want it, and then they could move it away from the Fiora, and it wouldn't matter anyway.
I mean, and the question is, what is the priority on now? This series has not followed what we would consider the traditional meta, right? The Thresh, still very powerful, the Galio powerful, but maybe Splyce, maybe they take away the Twitch.
I feel like if Splyce take away the Twitch, then Unicorns kind of have a bit of a free run on this. I think they maintain the last ban, which is Rakan, that comes out here. Unicorns take the Galio, Splyce take themselves the Twitch, and they can always counterpick if Unicorns swap away the Galio into the middle lane.
Ooh, boys. Xayah and Rakan up and available, as well as the Twitch. Oh, I know that feeling for the
Galio. Chachi's like, I really want to win this game, so do I pick a utility champion for the top lane, or do you let me carry?
Oh, this is so hard. Will they use it as a flex pick? Will they get the option to? Are they just going to run face first into Xayah Rakan with this lock-in?
I mean, if Xayah Rakan gets picked up here, you have to expect something like the Caitlyn paired with like a Lulu to come out from Unicorns. And then if Xerxes gets himself the Ivern...
if they pick one, they're picking both.
You have the crazy protect the AD carry comp that could come through. There's the one. You got to anticipate that Rakan's there.
Hey, we love it. Everybody loves it.
But will it be the Ivern, the Caitlyn that comes through in this rotation? That would be an insane amount of frontline for a Caitlyn.
And we gotta say, protect the AD carry comps have worked in the path for Unicorns 11. Last game, they didn't really have a whole ton of protection elements. They had the Galio, a little protection from the bar, but not what we normally consider. And now, Gragas being brought in here. Could go into the jungle, could flex onto the top side of the map, and Stress, I think you may have called it right with protect the carry comp, because I see disengage right now, I see protection tools, and if that Braum gets locked in, it may come down to just banning out these 80 carries on the side of Splyce. They do not want to give Unicorns of Love anything here.
So the thought process for Unicorns of Love here is take away the Gragas. But Trashy is not a one-trick pony. He doesn't only have the Gragas to his name. We've seen him play the Ivern, and now Splyce can ban the Caitlyn. Right away here is number one, and then maybe even ban a Twitch, but they go for the mid lane for now. I think Caitlyn will likely be the second ban.
Maybe smart, not getting ahead of themselves. They see the potential for protect the AD carry comp. They say the Twitch, the Caitlyn, they're important, but we do not want to give Senkux a bad matchup in the mid lane.
The other thing here is if Splyce look for an Aurelion Sol or an Orianna as the first pick here, there's not a whole lot of things the Unicorns can run in the mid lane in response to it. I mean, Splyce aren't building a 1-3-1 setup realistically with a Xayah and a Rakan. They're very efficient at fighting. So the Kassadin may not make sense in that respect, but it's one of the picks Senkux is utilized very commonly.
Makes a lot of sense. Ban out the comfort for Senkux. It will be the Twitch ban away from the Unicorns of Love. And I got to say, I like this. We've seen it. If you get to the mid to late game with a strong AD carry on Twitch, it's nigh impossible for the opposition to win team fights. It was the defining factor in both Game 1 and Game 2, and not going to show its face here in Game 3.
Kobe output the highest damage per minute this split, at least on that Twitch coming through. So with Unicorn's last ban, where's it going? Another mid lane roamer, Aurelion Sol would be available for Splyce.
And they have the luxury of last pick. Are they going to save it for the top laner, or are they going to save it for mid?
I mean, unless they put the Galio mid lane, Gragas goes top lane here, Splyce could kind of hedge their bets once again and say, okay, let's run something into the Galio top lane that works. Shen not available. They could just go Rumble here. But then it's Wonder.
All right. And now I like this. This is Splyce saying, hey, you want to force some fights? We can force fights too. They've got the Kled, they've got engage tools with the Xayah, the Rakan, they've got the backup with the Ivern. The question is, how are they going to play it out with this final pick? And Unicorns of Love, I think no surprise going for the Caitlyn here, but what's it going to be for Exile in the mid lane? Will it be that Galio?
It could also be Xerxes jungler if they want to go Warwick. He has played it in both other games. That would rely on playing Gragas into Kled, which is not a matchup that I think you really want to do. So I don't know whether you really want to run the Galio into Kled either. That's the problem.
Interesting. All right. So very similar composition to what we saw in the previous game. This time the Gragas swapped out for the Warwick. Braum and Bard trading places, at least a little bit. This is not a champion in the support role.
No.
At all anymore.
It would
but
not
we
be.
have heard it's pretty good in the mid lane.
Yes. And
Okay,
Senkox
all
has
right, all
locked it
right.
in. So
I like this. This is a good series, Stress, because I have zero idea what's going to happen with this Malzahar pick. Run me through it, please.
there are a couple of changes to Malzahar. It used to be that you'd put points in the Voidlings in order for them all to appear. Now they kind of all just spawn at once and run at an enemy for a while. A lot of damage was moved around on his kit, that type of thing, put into the tether rather than the pool when it comes to his ultimate. So there's a whole bunch of things we'll get into in the game that Malzahar has had changed around, but a lot of people are playing it again in solo queue in the mid lane, and Senkox is one of those people that we've been waiting to see it come from.
You have to remember, you store up those charges of the Voidlings. Can just throw out so much harass when you do decide to go in. And look, Galio wants to farm. Maybe Malzahar wants to farm as well. But we have to be ready once again for an explosive matchup because Xayah and Rakan, we've seen it at level 1. We've seen it at level 6. It does not matter. Once the quickening is available, Splyce are going to find fights, and it's up to Unicorns of Love to outplay them here in the final game of this series.
Was there a manager handshake? I didn't...
No.
Oh, not on game 3.
Not when the stakes are this high, Stress.
That's actually true.
Not when the hands are this clammy. You don't want that sweaty handshake.
They're both just looking for their merchandise backstage. Like, where's this, the Unicorns? We need more things for next week. But as you said, it is tense. It is game number 3. Unicorns taking on Splyce. I think Unicorns wouldn't have anticipated being in this situation, and they have given over Xayah and Rakan to Kobe and Mickey in game 3.
We've seen this be the death sentence for so many teams, very often up against Rockhat, potentially up here against Splyce. But here it is, folks, game 3. Teams quick to leave the base. The duo in the bot lane we're going to have to keep our eyes on. The level 1's always explosive. We'll see what skills they want to take. Will it be the entrance? Will it be a little bit of quills there to back it up as well? But Unicorns of Love, looks like they're ready for a more aggressive start, ready to use the power of this Brawn level 1.
Yeah, it's the kind of lane that we've seen be very impactful from the Xayah Rakan. We've also seen Braum Caitlyn just hold people at arm's length and zone away. As you said, level 1, this impact, Senkox able to get away from it, and Splyce get out with their lives safe, but they get the wards down for the Unicorns. Double wards in the top side. It's been answered on the bottom side by Mickey.
Just going to be the trade of vision in the end. Both sides will know where the jungler is going to start. We'll let them adjust their pathing, but Senkox gonna have to flash over the wall. Not sure what the thought process was there. Taking some risks as he walks to group with the team. So flashless Malzahar could be a point of weakness for Xerxes as we move forward in this series. And really across every single lane. Mid lane feels the most calm out of all these lanes. Both of these guys just kind of want to farm. But you have to respect the potential for the Galio to find and engage here. At the same time, Kled versus Renekton, incredibly explosive. Bot side as well. Xayah Rakan versus anybody, bound to be bloody.
Yeah, and we are going to have to watch that bottom lane at the same time. As you said, the ability to engage at level 1, you can't really overlook. But as you said, Hylissang's Braum, you can kind of counter some of the engage, just getting that passive to stack up, get it to lock down, and maybe Unicorns will end up struggling. But early on, you can see difficult to pressure out Rakan and Xayah. Too much strength in this lane. And Mickey just walks up and zones them back.
Rakan, technically a ranged champion, very loosely arranged, very short range, similar to Thresh, but does give him an advantage over Braum in those trades. And really, the ability to share some of the damage on the activation there just makes it so easy for these guys.
I haven't really talked too much about the top lane. Chachi back on this Renekton into Kled. It's very similar in the sense that Kled will likely dominate the later portions of this game and have the side lane presence, but early game, there's a couple of times in the trades where Chachi can output a lot of the damage onto Wunder and can force it to be more of that skill matchup that we have seen. Don't see a whole lot of Kled. Wunder is one of the main proponents here in Europe, still playing Kled. Around the world, there's always those Kled players, 1 or 2, or in the LPL we see it quite a lot. But here in Europe, only a handful of people still pulling out the Kled.
And of course, Vizichachi just sitting on full fury. Wunder wants to go in for a trade. He's going to eat 2 empowered abilities, and it's just not a trade he can afford to take. So Vizichachi doing what he can, but there's the entrance. That'll dance right back out. Mickey actually not getting the beneficial end of that trade, but Trashy was there and ready. Oh, now he's moving forward. He's got the smite as well. This just feels bad.
Yeah, as Trashy just kind of walks in, but recognizes with Xerxes that he would get interrupted on the cast time on that, so can't really go aggressive for the steal right in Cersei's face. But Splyce right now, they're content with this amount of pressure down in the bottom lane. Look at it, 25 CS to 17. There's a few minions in the wave in front of them. But what this allows them to do is set up wards behind the Unicorns bot lane. In goes
CC coming forward, decent damage down onto Samix. They're going to be happy with that exchange, but they have to be careful. A little bit more damage back on the Kabi. But 80 carry for support, health pools traded. That's favorable for Splyce.
Yeah, Splyce, we can see in the bottom lane running the Courage of the Colossus, plus also going for the Frost Queen's Claim route for Rakan. Earlier today, we had a Rakan that went Ancient Coin. Of course, trying to utilize that quest to get, additional points in his abilities. But I feel like the Spell Thief's Edge, Frost Queen's Claim aspect is just the better overall kind of skirmishing build setup, and that's what Rakan loves to do. I don't think that extra point is all that necessary for Rakan.
Well, keep your eyes on the play, though. Grand Entrance comes out, looking for the second stack of Battle Dance. Where's it going to be? May not have enough time, the extended range, but Samix!
It's okay. He gets out with his life. As you said, for those that maybe haven't played Xayah and Rakan, or even the two separate, Rakan gets additional range on his leap if he's leaping towards his own Xayah. And that is where that really felt its effect. That's one of the reasons why they have that enhanced
have to be
effect.
careful. Shield comes in. Wonder trying to remount is going to get it. Now they're going to find first blood on the side of Splyce. Good gank coming in from Trashy.
Trashy, first of all, gets the trigger seed, then is able to land the stun coming through, and Wonder is getting first blood in that top lane. Trashy even giving it over, making sure that that Kled gets the advantage in the early game that they need to see for Splyce to take over this game.
Exile, though, faring a little bit better in the mid lane, laying down a little bit of vision, but mid lane, once again, not really what it's about. We've seen a little bit of attention there coming in from Xerxes, but for now, the bot lane and the top side of the map so important. You can see Wonder, look at him bait.
Yeah, without Skull, he's a much less effective duelist at this point. Wonder, however, manages to get Skull halfway through the trade, and Trashy comes in to make sure that they can secure the kill. And Chachi, it's not looking so great for another game here for the Spring Split MVP. This is the second game in a row where deaths are on the board and no kills to go alongside it.
But at the same time, you have to respect the bottom lane, because you see Kabi last game, 36% of his team's damage, 10-1 and 13, 1,200 damage to champions per minute. That is insane. That is Varus level numbers without the Varus level abilities in terms of poke and pressure. That is all team fights. But this time around, not about the Twitch. It's a little bit different. Going to have a little bit of a harder time functioning in these team fights. Doesn't have the luxury of that long range, and it's not going to be quite so easy to take down Samus.
I know Vedius is actually really annoyed at you and I. I don't know whether you saw this in between games. In a fight, he scored 10,000 damage, and Vedius was like, why didn't you do the over 9,000 joke? And I have to just remind him that I didn't watch Dragon Ball. Like, it's not there.
Okay, I'm mad at Vedius because he needs to stop talking trash, not face to face. Vedius, we work together. You can do better. Come on. You have not watched Dragon Ball Z?
No, I have not. Don't boo me! Don't boo me!
Love you, audience. Definitely deserved. I mean, did you watch something else instead? We're going to have to hold that thought briefly because they're trying to kill each other up top lane. And now he's moving forward. Wonder hungry for blood. Visit Chachi. Looking a little bit like your decision not to watch Dragon Ball Z as he gets taken down.
Well, Unicorns.
Now keeping the fight going. Kabi dishing out so much damage. Where is the Blade Caller backing off? But the Chain CC comes in. Unicorns love keep the ball rolling, but now Wonder's TPing in. There goes Scarl. He's nigh unkillable. Mickey is there to back him up, but Wonder is immediately going to dismount. Has to get out of there. The pocket pistol not gonna be enough. Mickey gets taken down. Double kill for Samix. 3-3 the kill score. Man, what a miss.
Once again, Unicorn's taking control of bottom lane. Watch this Malzahar go. He's got flash. Can he get into range here? Sankuk's not quite able to get there. But Unicorn's taking full control of the bottom side of the Rift as they're losing top. This is the inverse of what went so well for them in game number 1. So this is the exchange onto Chachi, pushed up in lane once again, and Wonder, this time he can trade. He was ahead in the lane before this, and Chachi just knows he can't get out alive from this. Charge comes on. Again, Trashy lands that root, and everything goes the way. But Unicorns, in response, this is a much better play out of them. They're able to punish what would normally be that very strong bottom lane, and now if they get out of the laning phase, this Caitlyn and Braum should be able to do just fine.
And you got to respect it too, because the concussive blows is just such a strong ability when it comes to playmaking. When we look at this play out, Senkuk's going to have a lot of damage in team fights, but he can't really afford to show up late. However, now you see top side 4-1-9 for Vizicachi, 4-5-3. Scores changed a little bit in game 2, though, once Wonder got his hands on that carry. But the difference now, Stress, both these guys, they've got brawlers in their hands. They're ready to fight constantly. And Vizicachi, despite getting this Renekton over and over again, it doesn't really seem to be working.
Yeah, I don't think Chachi actually wants to trade into Wonder anymore. He's like, okay, maybe we can trade a little bit, but Wonder is ahead in this matchup. Chachi's up in farm, but Wonder, he is that kill up and is able to really bully around this Renekton as it goes.
It's a little rough, right? Because he's winning in farm so well. It feels like every time these guys go toe-to-toe, but Wonder just always has the team there to back him up. Trashy is just living on the top side of the map, and it's working out.
Yeah, nothing working out. Senkuk's able to get that blue buff. You were correct, though, on the sense of being able to neutralize mid lane, and nothing's really going to go on there. Another buff now goes over to the top lane. Wonder will walk into this lane and say, okay, let's take these trades. I'm ready for this.
The health regen as well just makes it so difficult to win. Extra damage, extra health regen. You're just so much better at dueling when you have this buff. Wonder
just walk up, throw out that bear trap, cancel the recall coming. Of course, that is a little bit of a rough timing here if Xerxes were on the top side, but he's not. He's been spotted bottom side. So Chachi, you know, he can't take this trade against Wonder.
Now looking to move forward, though. He's got Fury building up. Wonder has to respect it. Hold of Meat comes out. Pocket pistol. He's about halfway charged, but if he gets stunned up, he could just get burned through. Yeah,
that's the problem. He's got flash available. If Chachi goes for this, Wonder can just flash out.
Yordle versus Crocodile. That is an aggressive Yordle.
Oh, look at it's charging back up. Wonder is desperately trying to get this.
When he kills the minions, he's going to get it back.
Yeah.
Vizicachi sees that, though. He knows he can't kill him before Skarl comes back, so he is going to have to back off. We'll just return to base, get some Ninja Tabby, make the trades a little bit more favorable. Now ahead in items for a brief moment before Wonder backs, but Unicorns of Love uncontested on the bottom side.
Yeah, finally they can push down this tower. Daisy, not exactly the best defensive cupcake against the tower push here coming out from the Unicorns. That's a TP going cancelled, the bot side from Chachi. They were looking to make the play as they thought Splyce were committing to a defense on that tower, but Unicorns, despite the fact that top lane is going heavily in Splyce favor, have managed to get tower first blood for themselves.
Now Vizicachi in a very dangerous position. Malzahar, of course, with ultimate available. Chachi with no dominance to give him that extra health, but maybe he's going to play this one smart, or he's going to walk face first in. Now we see Senkuk's, however, briefly knows to back out. Risky business here. Splyce have to give up the bottom side tower, but a lot of CS given up.
Oh!
Nice hit. All right, nice predict. Late game, that's a death sentence. Right now, it's like, well, there's no one else here to do damage, so good job.
Yeah, Daisy even just admiring from a distance on that one. But now the Unicorns utilizing this bottom lane that's ahead, pushing it up to the top side, making sure that Chachi has some sort of assistance up here. I'm interested to see how Splyce's composition can work out the later we go as well, because Malzahar and to some extent, you know, these signature picks for Wonder like a Kled was what we saw Splyce doing well in the 2016 season. Of course, Kled maybe not that proponent pick at that point. That was maybe a little before his time. But Unicorn, Splyce utilizing this Malzahar back in as a mid lane pick before it went to support.
And it's interesting too because we saw Exile also utilizing comfort picks earlier in the series in the Rise, and now it's Senkuk's back onto comfort picks in the Malzahar. And similar to the Rise, very big unknown factor in terms of what it's going to do. Because right now, a little bit of just kind of a push bot here.
As you can see, 7-2 record all time. Malzahar has changed a couple of times with regards to his abilities. You were talking a little bit about the Voidlings. It used to be that they would charge up and you'd, you know, put them down and they'd replicate each other. Now they're just a standard cooldown that you just spawn like a bunch of Voidlings at somebody and then they just walk at them.
Then you ult them, and they can't auto attack back. And they die immediately to Winds of War. That's unfortunate. Exile is going to burn Flash to walk away.
Because they reduce the health they have again. So it's like one hit basically kills the Voidlings and then Wings of War just claps them.
They're pretty much only good if you're already winning in exchange or if you have them ulted up. Channel coming down on the blue buff. Who's going to get it? Crashy wants to get it. Once again, the channel, he can't steal it. All comes out. Now backing out. Mickey X needs to get to safety. Battle Band's back to Kabi. Barrel goes in. That's good. Kabi in trouble. Is going to use the Feather Storm. Now backs out, looking for a little bit more. Exile is in the middle of the team, and he's buying time. Mickey now running for his life with the quickening. 3 stacks on him. Not going to find purchase in the end. Here comes the fight. Vizichachi's on the back line. He's right in the middle of the team. There's the Cold Meek. He's trying to find one, but he can't get anybody. Chachi just getting run through the ringer. No one's going to die. Now the kills start to come out, and it looks like at the end of the day, a 2-for-1 in favor of Splyce.
Yeah, Splyce are able to balance their health bars the later it goes. Chachi couldn't find the kills. Oh, got him.
Hashtag big plays. Senkux with the flash call the void over the wall. Wow.
Hype. Got it. But if that happens in a team fight later for the Unicorns, Samex cleans up. But right now, Samex is on BF sword just buying the Zeal. He had a pickaxe in that fight. So there wasn't enough damage fast enough coming from this single carry once again that Chachi is like, okay, I've got them all to 200 health. Somebody, please clean up this team fight.
And that's the vulnerability of this composition to a certain degree, right? Is you just don't have the big, huge sources of burst damage. Yes, Galio does a ton of damage in the early to mid game. So does Renekton, but not always the best in these team fight scenarios.
And like Splyce start this fight off, it's all over a blue buff at this point, and Xerxes is the one that eventually gets it. Exile comes into the fight, and they think they have the numbers advantage, but remember, this is double TP, not just Senkux coming into the fight. Wonder was here as well. And the damage comes out in favor of the Unicorns as soon as Chachi gets himself into the fight with the Blast Cone. He's actually able to start taking down Trashy and look to get that last bit of the health pool. This is such a good spot for a Protect the Caitlyn composition, but later in the game, and unfortunately they just can't quite close out the kills. Senkux sees Xerxes on the ward, he's like, I've got this.
You almost got 2.
Yeah, nearly. Samex didn't have the Malefic Visions on him or anything, so couldn't quite pick up that last kill.
I think we have to make sure to praise Mickey in that fight. May have gone mostly unnoticed, but definitely not by the side of Unicorns of Love. Left into the middle of the fight.
Yep.
Locked so many people up so that the team could start in a favorable situation. But as we look forward, you're right, you got to be scared of that Caitlyn, and of course the Kled charge, that ultimate, it feels so good. It feels so good when you're charging a Caitlyn stress. It feels so bad when you run face first into a Galio, a Gragas, a Renekton. It's going to be a little bit rougher as they move for more fights.
This might be the quickest quickness that we've seen, because imagine charge into like flash quickness out from Rakan is disgusting amounts of movement speed that will just charm around the fight.
It really bothers me that ability is called quickness, because it's just a descriptor.
Right, yeah, the same. I'm like, how do you use that?
It might be the quickest like, you had to say that. The quickest quickness. Not just a tongue twister. Oh,
that's easier said than
now moving forward. Lots of damage going in on the Exile. Starting to take the back end of a lot of these trades.
You know, all I can say, I don't mind the name that much. I'm down with the quickness.
All right, the one guy who laughed at that, shout out to you.
They booed me 10 minutes ago. I'll take one laugh. I'll take that.
All right, a little bit better reception now. Well, Mickey now has to run for his life. Quick enough to escape in that exchange. And interesting now how the map has been divvied up. Both bot lanes moving to the top side. And tower in favor of the Unicorns of Love. Gold still very close. Small lead for the UOL. Not going to be a major factor here. But Samus continues to play aggressive, continues to play pretty fearless, and neither AD carry has completed a major item 17 minutes into the game.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that. There is enough for both of them, I believe, to complete their items. I think Samex is a little far off, but a couple 100 gold from this tower should be enough to get him either the rapid fire, maybe we'll see the static shiv, depending on which way he wants to go first. Has nearly the money to buy Infinity Edge if he wants to complete that as his first item. But of course, no longer is the Hurricane build effective because they removed the charging the headshots. Oh, that was strong for so long. And as a Caitlyn player, that was really satisfying.
Yeah, I like broken stuff too.
Yeah, it's great.
You feel good. Forget that it's broken. Well, Splyce looks like they want to make it a 1-for-1 in terms of the tower trade, but Unicorns of Love are coming down to the mid lane. Haven't had a chance to buy yet, however. But still, so much damage between the Malzahar. Now backing up, taunted up under the tower. Mickey X trying to run for his life. Down comes the redemption. Trading back and forth. Wonder just walking into the tower. They're going to focus it down. Now they're in trouble. That's the chain CC. Exile just going to get burned through. Malefic Visions is ticking, but the teams are starting to back off. The fight just keeps happening. There's the Grand Entrance. Vizichachi looking to hand deliver a kill for Exile, but Wonder is still alive. Will he be able to dismount? Out comes the ultimate. He's still trying to make it out. He does. Pocket pistol up and available. He's going to look for the disengage, but so much damage. Yet another Grand Entrance. Now Xerxes has to run, but Samix is untouched. They leap forward, but Wonder has the kill in his sights. He wants Hylissang. Burns down, spreads the visions, but not going to be enough to kill. And Xerxes just going to blast Cone out to safety to close the fight.
Splyce looked to be in a real tough spot after losing Cobby, but they were able to output enough damage from this mid lane Malzahar. Remember, it is not a support pick anymore, and it has significant amounts of damage if there's a couple of rotations of Call of the Void. If it hits multiple people, suddenly Unicorns can't quite fight as effectively as they normally would be. This is Splyce making a power play for the tower. Look at how far away Hylissang is to begin this fight off, and then Chachi is able to get into the fight once he goes back around the corner, but it's delayed from the Unicorns, and again, Exile is the one caught out to begin a fight off. Manages to find himself some space, get back for an ultimate onto Chachi, who is right in the middle of the Splyce lineup. Cobby ends up falling, couldn't quite get out alive. I don't believe he even used his ultimate in that exchange, but now Senkux has that damage output for the tail end of this fight. Low health carries means the Unicorns have to start backing themselves away, and the Malzahar can take over.
Oh, and there's so many things that go in favor of Splyce in that fight. Cobby not at the start, or not Cobby. Samix not at the start of the fight. Braum is blocking damage for nobody when he first uses the shield. They're fighting in the middle of a creep wave, making it even harder to deal with those Malzahar minions. Cobby upset.
Yeah, he knew that his ult was available. Could have dodged out on the Galio entrance, I believe, but didn't quite see the timing of whether the taunt came through just after, but...
Oh, I thought this was teamfight damage. I was like, that's
so did
very high
like,
numbers for this early in the game. No, that's total damage dealt. Impressive. Galio may be able to survive, but Malzahar is still dishing out a good amount of damage. And I think not a lot has happened in the mid lane yet, Stress, but we look at that scoreline for Senkux, and something's going to need to happen, because clearly someone has to answer this Malzahar. 4-0-1. Rylai's Morellonomicon. So much damage in that team fight. Starting to look like a scary pick.
And the thing about Malzahar is its weird sense of damage and also zone control in team fights, because that silence basically shuts down a lot of Unicorns of Blood. So Call of the Void can also deny fights very effectively, and it is quite a short cooldown for Malzahar, especially now after being maxed. It's every 4.3 seconds that Call of the Void is up, and you get that massive silence. A lot of damage comes out. Unicorns can't really play around that too effectively. And we're back to game 2 again.
Yeah, we've been here before. Last time it was with Fiora, so luckily for Vizichachi. Oh, now Galio is going to be in trouble. Gets good damage reduction off the Idol of Duran. Now backing off. Wonder looking for a little bit more. There's the charge. No escape for Exile. Trapped on the bear trap. Pulled back into the fight. Now they're looking to keep it 2. Featherstorm comes out. Pulled back in. That's the taunt. That is a kill for Cobby. 2 picked up for Splyce.
Yeah, Splyce, they're not fishing for bears at this point. Unicorns are a whole lot harder to come by, but they've found them time and time again with this Kled pick. And now Splyce are looking towards the Baron. We're only 21 minutes in, but with 2 members of the Unicorns down, this might be the shot to the top of the group.
Xerxes, you want to save the day. This is your chance to get it. Who will be the kings of Group B? This could decide it, but Wonder not going to let Xerxes make his mark. The team continues to burn this one down. They're tanking it up, but Vizichachi goes in. He's going to find 1. He's looking to get 2. Cobby in trouble, taking damage from the Baron. Has to try to make his way out. Trashy keeping your eyes on that health bar. Where's it going to go? Is it going to drop? Trashy gets it in the end. Double kill comes out for Vizichachi, but it still turns in their favor, and Samix can't afford to auto-attack the Voidlings. That's the shutdown, and that's Splyce dominating the Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, that is Splyce taking full control of this game now. 5-0-4 on this Malzahar. With the Baron buff now, they can push through, and the Unicorns can't really do much to stop this push onto the tower. It's not going to result in an inhibitor tower, but look at how low top and bottom lane towers are as well. Splyce will get a great influx of gold soon.
Hold back, look at how much damage Senkux is doing. They're trying to kill him, but they can't ignore Wonder either. There's too much shielding as well. There's just no damage on the side of Unicorns of Love. It does not matter. That's a double kill. That is disaster for UOL.
Yeah, Splyce now can look to crack the base after Samix has respawned. It should be enough to deter for now, but this is going to be critical damage over the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and it all stemmed from this mid lane play. Senkux gets the suppress down. It buys enough time for the charge to come through the bottom side jungle, and Exile isn't so strong when he's surrounded by 5 people just focused on taking down the Gargoyle, and then from there, Hylissang, the same kind of thing. Can't get himself out alive. Splyce turn for the Baron, and Xerxes tries to do his best, but there's not a whole lot he can do when there's so many members of the Splyce still alive.
And it just feels so awkward for this team. Vizicachi was not in that fight. Samix was not in that fight, and that's the man you want to play around. Things are falling apart for the Unicorns of Love, and Splyce are keeping it together. It's been a rough series. It's been back and forth, but Splyce keeping a cooler head here, and they prevail in the end.
Yeah, and you can see, although Cobby ended up falling in that, a couple of members of Splyce ended up dying, they still get the Baron buff from it. They're able to get the shutdown as well. And now they've got an Ocean Drake alongside it. We came into today with a lot of people expecting the Unicorns to be the easy victors in this series. Splyce hadn't showed us all that much, but look what happens when they can play around Wonder, when they actually can play around Senkux and Cobby. Like, this is a better Splyce than we've seen in a while.
And we expected the same thing from G2 versus Misfits,
yeah.
right? We expected a decisive 2-0, but here we are in our second series of the day. You get another potential for upset, and you know, we have to be honest, at this point, teams are improving and changing so much week to week that it gets harder and harder to make these predictions among the top 6 teams.
Ugh, there is not a lot that Chachi can do here. If that tower isn't there, he gets 1v1'd in an instant by Wonder. Chachi would just end up falling. Oh, bear trap on the rope.
Full forward, charge comes
He's
out,
got
Dominus
Skull,
comes,
so
trades. Is going to dismount. Actually good for Vizicachi if Wonder decides to fight again, but don't think he will. I think he will just back out here in the end. Vizicachi. I wanted him to go.
You wanted the fight.
I'm pretty sure he had pocket pistol and he would have just walked away, but I wanted him to try. Would have been the wrong choice.
It's just the effort that counts. Is that it?
No, definitely not. If it was the effort that counts, I would be much higher elo.
Definitely the results that count on this one.
Turns out, yeah.
Who knew? And Splyce right now, they are getting the results, realistically. 5 kills on Senkux, 5 kills on Wonder. You can see the build is kind of the same as the old Malzahar used to be. You get yourself the mix of the cooldown reduction, the Rylai's for the slow as well, and it means nobody ever really gets away from you. And then you just build Magic Pen on top of that. So you're basically a tank buster the later the game goes, because that Malefic Visions does a significant amount of damage, especially when paired with Leandries.
With the changes to the ult as well, the flat damage on the ultimate, 1.15 scaling ratio as well, you still deal so much damage to the more vulnerable members, the less tanky members, and all are looking like a really good pick in this game. And I like that we're seeing diversity in terms of the Splyce lineup. We're seeing Wonder and Senkux start to carry this game. We saw Senkux carrying the Guardian Soul. We've seen Cobby carry now too. So many threats.
Yeah, the Talia as well. It's interesting that in this game, the Xayah and Rakan, at least the Xayah aspect, hasn't quite been the effect.
That thought. We have to keep the fight going. Senkux now caught out. This could be disastrous for the team, but he's still alive. He's flashing back to safety. There's not enough shielding to keep him alive. Or is there? They're turning it back. Senkux is still alive. What is happening? Splyce are destroying Unicorns Love. Bear trap on a rope, gonna proc. He goes back. He goes down. And that's gonna be the ace. Splyce are playing so incredibly well, and Unicorns of Love, the Ivern against them, they overestimate their ability to take down these key targets.
We're only 26 minutes in, but this might be game. Still 10 seconds on even the first Unicorn to respawn. Daisy's here to just tank it up.
Charge
Splyce send the shot up to the top of the group of B.
Insane performance. They lose to H2K. The parity between this group is astounding. Splyce, right here, right now, take down the Unicorns of Love.
I was not expecting that coming into today from Splyce, but that's the best Splyce we've seen in a long time.
And we gotta say, when they saw opportunities, they took them. They saw a small overstep from Exile in the mid lane. They saw Caitlyn on the top side, Renekton on the bottom side. They took them out, and even with the jungler up, they did not hesitate to take the Baron. They denied entrance to the pit, and it was close, don't get me wrong, but I love the aggressive calls coming in from Splyce.
Yeah, really fun to watch, a really fun series overall. Crazy, crazy stuff happening in all 3 games. Forgot how to talk. Group of B. Who really knows what's going on in the group of B?
A lot of parity in Group B. A lot of time you're going to have to give up to catch up on Dragon Ball Z. Stress.
I was more of a 1990s Spider-Man cartoon kind of person. But it's not about,
that's fine.
It's not about my childhood viewing. It is about Splyce right now, taking down the Unicorns.
Absolutely.
The second upset of the day.
And this makes cross-group play even more important, because now if you don't beat every team that your opponents beat, suddenly they're going to have an edge up on you next time you play again. And we've seen just how back and forth cross-group could play, how that can upset expectations. And we've already seen, I'm going to say basically 2 upsets today. There were probably some Misfits fans, some Splyce fans that believed in this, that knew this would happen, but I don't think this was the safe bet coming into today.
No, absolutely not for either game, as you said. And I think when you look at it, Splyce, I think, empowered their carries more than the Unicorns did today. Unicorns looked like they were playing on a subdued. Samux is the only one that can carry a setup, and Chachi wasn't at the same level that we saw of him in weeks gone by and in spring, and Exile giving away a lot of deaths. It's very difficult for the Unicorns with a single carry focus to actually carry that through, and then suddenly Splyce have fed Fioras, Kassadins, Kleds, Malzahars.
And I'll give you that, Stress. I'll give you that in game 1. I'll give you that in game 3. But game 2, to me, game 3, Splyce played incredibly well.
Yeah.
And at many points, so did Unicorns of Love. But game 2, Unicorns of Love took that big risk. And when they took that big risk, it backfired against them, and it gave Splyce an advantage in a game where a Kassadin and a Fiora never should have gotten a chance to come back into the game.
That's fair. That game should have been shut out from the early game leads that Unicorns accrued. But this is just a monumental day when you look at the summer split as a whole, because I think G2, Unicorns would have looked at this somewhat expected results, just okay, maybe even if it's 2-1, we'll move past it, we'll be at the top of the group, everything will be fine. But suddenly, 2 of our league leaders that we're expecting now drop games to the mid-tier teams in their group, and that sends everything now. You look weeks down the line, what is that going to do to the standings?
And if you're a Splyce fan, this has to feel good. You know, like rising up again, you've seen this team be the 2nd best team in Europe. They get a shot now, and things look good for them. And if you're a Unicorns Love fan, you shouldn't worry too much, right? It's still early season. If you're going to have these issues, this is where you want to have them, but not being worried too much, and you should probably be a little worried, because this is the same thing again that we've seen where we don't have the best performances from Exile, but in the opposite end, the man going up against him, our player of the series, Senkux, incredible games coming in from him. The Aurelian Soul felt so good in game 1, felt like it could have been a victory for the team. The Malzahar,
the Kassadin,
we call it
a
pocket pick, a Kassadin as well, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, it was a really solid series from Senkux. Perhaps some of the best weeks of his career when you look at actual performance. Of course, going to Worlds last year has got to be a highlight, but they're aiming for Worlds again this year. You have to think for Splyce, that's where their mentality, you would think, would
where
be.
it has to be, right? When you're a top-level team, you got to aim for the top of the top, and it's a rough road for Splyce, but Splyce took a strong victory against Unicorns of Love, and Quickshot is standing by with their jungler, or rather,